Just for fun, we have moved on to greens. Gotta tell you that I know that we were just supposed to be doing turkey, but we gonna do some greens too. So big old bag of kale greens, some kale greens, but you could do collards or mixed or whatever. Some glory cabbage, some relish, just a little bit, some apple cider vinegar, like a cup and a half of water, a whole pack of Jamin Goya. Now, I do not promote Goya products anymore because of political reasons. However, I bought a whole bunch of this before they came out supporting a particular individual. So this is my leftovers. I still have a lot of Goya because they sold it in the dollar store. Well, there you go. You can get it from the dollar store. So, anywho, we're going to open this up and I'm going to cook it in my crock pot. I have no idea how many quarts this is, but it typically doesn't hold this much of greens. It's taking up my whole body. Big bag of greens. But you know, when greens cook, they cut down. So even though this looks like a lot, it's not going to be a lot at the end. I do not devein or take my greens off the stem because you can cook it well enough. First of all, stems are good for you. But these, they've actually, I think they already cut them up because it's like a little bit of stem. So it would be a hassle for you to do that. So when you cook greens in, they're going to take up a lot of space. But when they cook down, it's not going to be a lot. It's really not going to be a lot. So this is why I add just a little bit of water. So I'm going to add maybe about half the bag. You can get a smaller bag if you please. I don't even think that was half the bag. A couple more handfuls would be half the bag. And push it down in there because this is a lot. You'll see in just a second. And sorry, I am wearing a house dress because I'm working. I am homeschooling 2 kids and I am doing Thanksgiving. Stick it in the freezer for later. This first, we're just gonna add a little bit of water. And I'm gonna put this to cook on high, just for a little bit. Glory greens are seasoned already, so this is your way to cheat the system, just kind of like what I talked about with the stuffing. You just pour it right there on top. You just pour it on top. It will cook down. It will be fine. Same thing with your cabbage. Top off. Pour it right on top. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Ooh, that cabbage. And what I talk about with the seasoning with the cabbage, you're gonna see. Look inside there. You see all that color, them sprinkles? That's like black pepper and different types of seasoning. Another way you can see it is right on here. You see the seasoning in there? So these are already seasoned for the most part. We just wanna, and that's the reason why I put water in here, is because you see, even though the greens juice out of the can probably went through here and soaked to the bottom, it's not gonna be enough. It ain't gonna be enough to cook these greens without like potentially burning them. Those are driving me crazy. Potentially burning them in the crock pot. Sorry if I turn that camera the wrong way for a moment. Now we're going to add this whole packet, add maybe a cup of apple cider vinegar and about a cup of the relish. And the relish, I can't even tell you what it does, but it does give it an extra little twang versus, and again, I'm not really going to need to measure this. I just pour it so my ancestors tell me to stop. But you gonna need a cup. So I don't know if you saw zigzag, zigzag, zigzag all the way across. Oh, that vinegar smells good. What's gonna cut down that vinegar is the water I've already added to it. You're gonna sprinkle this whole pack. This stops you from having to use the neck bone of the turkey or any pork at all. This tastes like smoked pork. You might as well have a whole ham butt in that thing when you use a pack of this. Same thing. Just gonna jiggle, sprinkle, jiggle, sprinkle, jiggle, sprinkle. Now this was a whole container. You saw how much I used. But you see how many greens I've used, and you let that start to cook down together. If you want, you can add a little garlic and onion. After I cook this for a little while, I might taste it and see maybe I got too much kale, greens. You still recording? Yes. Put the top on this thing, and I am going to let this cook literally overnight. Sorry, my stuff is falling. I'm gonna let this cook overnight and periodically stir it. So, and it's on high, but cooking in a crock pot is a slow cooking process. So it's never really actually high. We're gonna leave this out for stirring purposes. And I'm just gonna add a little bit more water. Just a little bit. Oops, sorry. Okay, and you saw how much vinegar I used. This is 32 ounces. I hear you, boo. It was a little bit of water. You'll be fine. If you don't have a crock pot and you want to cook this in like a pot, you can cook it in a regular pot. And sorry, I'm looking like, again, a hot mess. You can cook it in a regular pot, but it will not take half the time that a crock pot takes. So you probably want to start cooking it like right before, maybe an hour before your meal, to let your greens cook for about an hour. So that's that. On to the turkey next.